Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. Download with TJ Majors in the Arby studio. Arby's a new partner here at Dirty Mo Media. Arby's has got a new meat and 3 box. Get more meal for your money at Arby's. We have the meats, and we have a new show today, the Dale Jr. Download, coming at you. The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. back again for another episode of the Dale Jr. Download with my co-host TJ Majors, and we're kicking off episode 688, going to Daytona. It's the 10th of February, and I'm leaving today. When are you going?
Today.
All right.
Everybody goes
today.
We got cars on track tomorrow.
Well, yeah. All right, so heading into Daytona, we have all of the Xfinity guys getting all their cars ready. We've got the 40 car on the Cup side headed down there. Yes, we will have practice in the morning. We'll kind of know a little bit about how things are going to go for Junior Motorsports on the qualifying side of things, because qualifying is tomorrow night. With the open cars, I think there's 8 or so open cars in the Cup side. The top 2 fastest are locked in, and then the rest, maybe there's 10, I don't know. But the rest are going to race for one spot in each duel. So the highest it's pretty straightforward. And I kind of like this. Like, I want it basic and simple. For the open cars, top 2 fastest lock in, and then the others will race for a single spot in each duel. The best finishing car is going to get that spot, right?
It's kind of how it's been forever, though, too, right?
I just feel like they simplified it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me? It's not always been just like that.
Maybe not that split up like that. Like, are the cars split evenly between the 2 races? That's what I was wondering.
I've always kind of wondered how they decided that.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't really know how that works, but I feel like that they either they clarified it or they simplified it and changed it a little bit, but
it's easy to follow the battle.
It's easy to follow. Last year it felt maybe a little more confusing. I don't know if I was just So anyhow.
Are you nervous?
I'll be honest. You know, last year we went to Daytona. We didn't have the speed in practice. We were like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You know, we make a couple adjustments, put the car out on the line, go out and qualify, and didn't have the speed. So now that I know how all that went, I'm anxious for practice, for us to get out there, see where we are, see how the motor is, see how the new body is. Where do we stack up? Can we, be one of the top 2 open cars in qualifying and lock ourselves in without having to worry about the duel? That
make it easier.
Listen, I know that was exciting to go through the duel and go through the process that we went through the hard way, sort of, to make our way into the Daytona 500 is fun, emotional. But I'd certainly like to maybe have an easier go of it, or an easier route to Sunday. We aren't even in the race yet, so you don't. And I'm a bit superstitious about that kind of stuff, like making assumptions and doing all those things and making any plans before you really have the commitment to be able to go there Sunday and race. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Qualifying practice in the morning, qualifying in the evening. The top 2 open cars are locked in qualifying into the race. The rest will have to race through the duels on Thursday or whenever the hell the duels are. Duels Friday?
Thursday. Like normal, yeah. No change.
They changed some things, It's hard to keep up.
I do miss the duels during the day a little bit.
Dude,
but
the duels in the day were fun. I know they get a better number on the network at night.
Yeah.
But they were fun during the day because the cars had a little more of a handling issue, especially on old bumpy Daytona.
Racing was probably slightly better a little bit with the challenging heat.
It just depends on what you think's better about racing, which brings me to some comments made by Elton Sawyer.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
So Elton says, chase this down for me. Elton Sawyer says, I guess he was talking on Sirius XM or something, and they asked him about the state of restrictor plate racing or racing at Daytona and Talladega. You don't see this at Atlanta for some reason, but at Daytona and Talladega, he says they've had discussions about stage lengths at those 2 races regarding the fuel savings. So they're trying to figure out, all right, do we have a problem? Is fuel saving truly an issue? Is the fact that the cars ride around half throttle the entire race problematic, or is that racing still, right? Because he says it's conflicting that they can hear the chatter about running half throttle, but if he turns off the radio and just watches the race, he sees cars running 4 wide and fans standing and cheering. And so that lowers the discussion around fuel saving and modifying the racing at Daytona and Talladega in any way. That lowers it down the priority list when considering things like bringing back the chase and some other items on their to-do list. And he says, in quote, "What do we want to fix?" He also noted that at the Indy 500, drivers are in fuel conservation mode as they take the green flag. And he's right about that. He is. Listen, I was at Indy covering the race, and we were expecting everybody to, immediately when the race starts, they sort of have a knob or an adjustment in the car to really basically turn the fuel usage to a certain up and down, right? And they're like, all right, we're going to run this way for half the day. We're going to run this way. And at the end, we're going to have, we should have this much fuel. And then
That's what we need, a knob.
A knob. Well, listen, they do start the race at the Indy 500. They start the race in a fuel-saving mode, and they have a plan. But in 2019, Simon Pagenaud, super cool dude, he goes out there and he disregards their plan to save fuel, and he runs as hard as he can. And they're telling him, hey, bud, love that we're leading this race, but at this rate, we're going to have to pit one more time comparable to everyone else, or we're going to spend more time on pit road putting fuel in. But he didn't give a shit. He wanted to win that race so badly, he was chasing it like a rabbit. And the cautions fell in such a way that it took away the disadvantage of the fuel. The cautions fell in such a way that that's the risk he took, right? He's like, I'm going to run like hell. I'm not saving. I'm not riding in second or third or whatever.
It's also the risk they took too.
I agree. I think that I want to get back to the words from Elton. I do believe that if they don't touch anything and don't change anything, teams will continue to shift their model and their plan, right?
It's always evolving.
Yep. If you start the race, right, if we go back a few years and you start the Daytona 500 and a couple guys are saving, they're creating an advantage for themselves. It's no longer an advantage when the entire field does it, right? And so that's kind of where we've ebbed toward. We've kind of flowed toward this. All right, now everybody's doing it. Now you got to be the guy that sets yourself apart. You've got to be the guy that maybe doesn't save anymore. You got to be Pagenaud. And some of those teams will now start to, it might happen this year even, some of those teams will say, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to,
just run
I'm
hard.
going to the front. I'm going to run hard. I'm going to hope the cautions fall in my favor. And we've seen these races just go to total chaos at the end. I mean, William Byron was running, 8th or 9th down the back straightaway when he won?
Like 10th.
Right. And so, the track position is important. You're kind of out front. Being out front's nice, but it's not kind of the, I just feel like that if they don't change anything, engineer minds and strategy and crew chiefs, they'll continue to, this thing will continue to shift and flow into, and strategies will change, and they'll go back the other way. They will.
But I got, like, in our series, though, a little bit different from the IndyCar stuff. Like, it's harder to get away. As a leader, you could run 100%, and the guy behind, the cars behind it, because of the draft in our cars, it's much easier to stay connected.
I know. It's like, that's a great point. The problem that I do want to go back to Elton's quote or comments, right? And I know Elton is just trying to, like, say to people, like, really, is it really that serious of a problem? Is it maybe not such a big problem that we don't have to really try to make a change just for the sake of making a change? Because I don't know that they know what to change, right?
Yeah, same.
They've talked about, could they change the stage lengths? Would that make the teams run harder?
Fuel cell size. I mean,
yeah, I don't. We went to smaller cells before. That was a pain in the ass. You just pitted more. You just pitted more. You didn't.
You're still going to try to eliminate a stop if you can.
I know, but it was just annoying to have to pit more. Drivers want to race. Drivers want to be on the track, not coming down pit road because your fuel cell's 13 gallons. We did that. We didn't like it. I wouldn't want to go back to that. That wouldn't get me. I'm trying to make a change, TJ, that's going to make me want to tune in. Making the fuel cell smaller on a car ain't exciting. All right. It's not sexy. So I don't have an answer, but I do know one thing. I do not like that they go out there and run half throttle in 2 seconds off the pace. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So Elton, we don't like it. And to say, well, if we don't talk about it, is it really a problem? If it's not, if the casual fan doesn't realize what's going on, then we shouldn't consider it an issue. I don't know if I like that. I don't love that he said that.
That's my problem is you're now basically telling your hardcore fans, we're not thinking about you.
Yeah.
All you had to say is, we're thinking about it, but we have to worry about the unintended consequences if we make a change.
Listen, this is let me say this too, and this is a compliment to NASCAR. This is the only thing that rubbed me wrong when in all of the last couple of weeks. This is the only thing that was like, what the heck, man? This is the only thing. All right, so we're on a good path. Things are going good. We got great marketing. Seeing all the commercials, see all the little clips, social media clips, and everything that they're doing. The hell yeah, all that.
A lot of momentum.
It's great. It's good. They did a great job. When they came out with that, when we saw some behind the curtain about that hell yeah stuff, everybody was clowning it. What the hell are we doing? Blah blah blah. We even talked about it here. It's great. It turned out great. And how do you keep everything a secret? They can't be expected to keep everything under wraps. But it turned out great. O'Donnell's been doing great. Everybody's doing good. A lot of communication. There's been more communication behind the scenes than I've seen in a long time with NASCAR. NASCAR eagerly wants this to work. They badly want this to work. And they're not us. That was the only thing that I was like, man, come on. What the Now, we're all smarter than that. So, the fuel saving era is not and it's not NASCAR's fault. It's just the teams have found a way to a strategy to give them an advantage late in the race, and they've got to minimize it. When we went to this car and it fuels slower, the tires go on faster and the fuel takes longer to go in. That's what created this, right? What is the one thing that keeps you on pit road? Putting fuel in the car. So can you minimize that and spend less time on pit road and give yourself an advantage? Yes. That's how this happened. The single lug shortened up the tire side of the pit stop, and now fueling is the outlier that you need to eliminate as much as you can. So they go out there and they save as much as they can, and they have to put less in the car and spend less time on pit road, and they're trying to put themselves in position late in the race with the track position to go out there and maybe have a shot at winning. And it's frustrating to watch them ride around. But I feel like if they don't change anything, people will have to set themselves apart. Everybody can't go out there and save. The guy running 20th, saving with his, like the guy running up front, is not at an advantage anymore. Because the guy up front's saving fuel too. The advantage is lost. So you might see some teams say, screw that. We're going to run hard. We're going to hope that the cautions fall in our favor. And that's the risk we're going to take.
Didn't we see the Toyotas in one of the super speedways last year try to push the pace on everyone else?
It's a couple years ago.
That's what you need is a group to get together and let's try something.
Yeah. my fear is, what's worse, this or running hard like at Talladega when everybody ran hard? It was 2x2, nobody moved.
Yeah.
What would you rather have?
Well, TJ, you mentioned it earlier. This car, if you don't want to save and you go out there and hold the car full throttle, right, and you go out and try to take the lead, you can't drive away. You can't. No. The car has so much drag that if you run wide open, you're just sitting in front of the field running wide open. Helping the guys that are saving. So the car has a ton of drag on it. That's a car problem. I don't know that there's many drivers, mechanics, and crew chiefs that would disagree that the drag on the car and how how the whole package, the power versus the drag. If I'm out there running half throttle and a full second slower than my car's capable of going, I want you to be able to go full throttle and literally drive away from me. Drive away. Put seconds between you and me. And you can't do it with this car.
Yeah, you definitely can't do it.
No. And that's not all right. That ain't all right.
So if we could be able to get the cars away from each other, if you wanted to go run harder than that.
If I'm wanting to run wide open, I should be able to drive away from you. There shouldn't be so much drag that I just go drive, that I'm sitting there full throttle leading the pack that's running half throttle, able to hang on to me.
What's the easiest fix to reduce drag?
Spoiler can get shorter. Everything about,
What if they just took the spoiler off the back?
I don't know if you could knock the spoiler off at Daytona. I think you could. I mean, they would have to
drive it.
They'd have to test to be able to get the cars comfortable again. And
what if they're not? Why do they have to be super comfortable though? Make them.
No. I mean, so they don't just crash. Yeah. I think if you took a spoiler off a car right now, you would have to spend a little bit of time putting some grip back in the back. And that's realistically, listen.
Could the teams find that?
Yes. No question.
Got it.
And I will, you can't change my mind until, you wouldn't be able to change my mind until you sent a car out on the racetrack and I saw with my own eyes that it wouldn't work. In the 70s, they didn't have rear spoilers on the cars. Dave Marcus was driving the 71 K&K Dodge. They had a little plate that bolted on the rear of the car, and they would raise it or lower it, and it was just a trip lip. And they might raise it up and it'd be like an eighth. And
just a little bit.
It would just stick up behind the rear deck. And if you were uncomfortable, you might raise it up a little more, but it was going to slow you down. And so in the qualifying, they would drop it all the way down.
All the way.
And go and haul ass. So literally no spoiler. And then if you look at some of the driver photos from Daytona of the guys when they kneel by the car after qualifying.
At the start-finish line, yeah.
In I'd say the late 80s, they were laying their spoilers back before there was a spoiler rule to 15, 10, 20 degrees.
So there's not much there.
Nothing. So I think there was a rule on the length of the spoiler, or they might actually just take the spoiler off. So we have ran a crap ton less spoiler at Daytona in NASCAR in a couple different eras.
I feel like those cars would be a handful with no spoiler.
Well, man, I remember, and I know it was different asphalt, bumpy Daytona, but I remember like lifting in the duels. We'd be racing in the duels on Thursday and plowing tight, going in the corner up to the top of the racetrack and all the way out of the gas into the center of the corner and then back full throttle.
Well, that would create
running fourth.
That would create some racing.
Yeah. Dude. And we're sitting there running our ass off, and I'm like, man, I can't go anywhere. I'm a couple car lengths in front of me is a car. Jeff Burton was behind me, and he's running fifth, and we're all tight, lifting out of the gas, up to the wall, back in the gas. Here comes Jamie McMurray rolling right around the bottom, just past us all because he's handling. And
well, I'd take that.
Oh man, so that's what I was asking you at the start when you said good racing. What do you think is some different people look at things differently? Like Elton Sawyer said, there are some fans, and they use it in commercials and everything, that'll see that 3 wide and go, that's badass.
Yeah, it is badass.
And then there's some people that'll see cars strung out and the guy out handling everybody and working his way through the field and go, that's badass, you know? So it's a little bit different for everybody. But when we go to Daytona, this is where I land on all of it. When we go to Daytona and Talladega, but more so for the 500, it's a 2.5 mile track. Daytona's synonymous with running wide open, holding the throttle down, running your ass off, hair on fire.
Yeah.
Cale Yarborough, 201 mile an hour,
Flying.
busting his ass in turn 4 and flying up into the guardrail. You know, Buddy Baker in the Gray Ghost destroying the freaking field. Hauling ass is what Daytona and the Daytona 500 is about. And so when they crank them up and line them up and they go 3 wide and everybody sort of goes, all right, y'all, let's run half throttle for the rest of the day. See you at the end. That goes against the identity of the race.
Does it give a little bit back? Because right now, I mean, anybody could, if you're in this race, you can win it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, everybody
20 years
got a
ago,
shot at it.
yeah, but 20 years ago, it was like, okay, there's a handful of cars. The top 20 probably have a really good shot. And then, the other guys aren't handling that great and they're going to fade a little bit. But does having a handling issue or having a handling race like that, where the guy, like McMurray driving right by you, if he goes on and wins that race, where you're like, damn, they earned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or is
you got to go back home and start working on your
Yes. Like, does it create more like prestige to it, I guess?
I mean, I don't know. I like to, I don't know, man. I think that the Daytona 500 is, in my mind, I mean, I feel like it's the most important race of the season, and it's important no matter how you win it or how it goes down.
Always, yeah. It's Daytona 500, so.
Well, I'll be interested to see if we have the same sort of everybody running half throttle on Sunday. Will we see, we saw Corey LaJoie in the 51 last year drive to the front, or was he in the 15, whatever it was. We saw the Ware kid lead some, drive up front, disregarding sort of the fuel saving and just saying, screw it, man, we're going to go up front and get our car on TV. We're going to lead some laps.
Maybe get the caution.
I hope we might see more people do that. If they can, right? Sometimes you pull out a line with this car and mash the throttle full throttle and you don't go anywhere. Even next to, even with the cars around you running half throttle.
It looks good, and then you get out there and
it's so draggy.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of great momentum, as I said, leading up to the Daytona 500. There's a ton of excitement around this season. The chase is back, and it looks like that everybody that I've talked to is in a positive mindset, excited about the year to come. So we're going to talk a little bit quickly. We got a new hood on the wall. TJ, so we have a hood that we have the guests come in and sign, and we auction it off at the end of the year. We've had fun with it. We've created some pretty neat stuff, some vintage stuff, and we got another vintage design on the wall. We let TJ pick
his favorite driver.
Yep,
easy.
We let TJ pick this year what hood would go on the wall. And you might have told me this years ago, but I must have forgot. But your favorite driver growing up was Jeff Gordon. And so, TJ, on the wall, what do we have?
Well, we have the retro, I guess, Jeff Gordon hood. I mean, it's an iconic hood to me.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about hoods, there's probably a small handful of them that you can look at and know exactly what car it was.
Yep.
And this is one of them to me. So,
yeah. Can you pull that car up on the screen? The Jeff Gordon flamed
hood.
DuPont car from back in the day. There it is. Jeff Gordon's going to be happy about this.
Jeff Gordon's going to like
We'll
it.
have to get Jeff in the studio.
Sign it.
Back on the show.
Yeah.
He may actually be on our live show sometime this year, maybe in the next couple of days. But we'll have to bring him in here. See if we can't
It's a good looking hood.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that any NASCAR fan can look at that. If you take out any of the logos or whatever, I do think they could pick it out what it is. I do think the Dirty Mo Media logo looks good in it.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the more iconic, like even non-NASCAR fans know this one.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that TJ got to pick the hood. I didn't have to do that. Every year you got to come up with something cool and creative.
Yeah.
I got to take a year off. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about the Clash. The Clash was at Bowman Gray. NASCAR did a hell of a job with the weather and all the industry-wide. Everybody went in there. They were uncomfortable. But we put on a race. It was pretty exciting. I watched it, thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
A lot of chatter about whether it should be, where it should go from here. I believe that NASCAR at Bowman Gray is a great combination. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I liked it.
In terms of, is it the Clash? Is it the All-Star race? I don't know that it could be any more than an exhibition. There's no live stops.
Yeah,
It can't get on and off pit road without, NASCAR having to kind of, there's not a safe way for them to pit live stops there. So it can't really, I don't know that you would ever want to try to make it a points paying event. Nobody's asking for that. I'm just wanting to say that out loud.
$1 million there? Ooh.
An all-star event there would be pretty exciting because the weather, time of year, it just has this, it is as throwback can get.
Man.
That
would be pretty amazing there.
It's as nostalgic or as vintage as you can go in NASCAR. And so I love that we're there. I love that we're racing there.
It does feel right racing there.
Yep, it does. And so pretty cool event, and unfortunate about the weather, but they did a good job. And
that's the most snow that we've had here in how many years? So
ain't much you can do about that.
No.
What should happen to the Clash? I always believe that it should stay at Daytona. It should be the pole sitters. If it's 8, if it's 12, if it's 14, I don't give a shit. Just pole sitters, 20 laps. And people are like, whoa, 20 laps, what the hell? Why even
That's
race?
all you need.
Well, look, man, the Clash was never meant to be. Of course, things grow, things progress, things improve, things get more important, things prosper, whatever. But the Clash was just a teaser. That's all it was. And I'm fine if it's this little icebreaker that sets the table for Speedweeks at Daytona. That's what it was. And it was unserious, but a bit of a
kind of serious.
It was a bit of a.
But you've won it.
Yeah, I won it as it was starting to shift away from its true identity. If you go back and look at the pre-race for the Clash in the '80s, Chris Economaki walking down pit road, individually interviewing the 12, 14, 16 drivers that are in the field. They're all kind of using the Clash as an opportunity to get a little information about how Daytona is going to be that year and how things are going to work, how their new teams and cars and all those things are going to perform. And there's a casual sort of comfort in the driver's demeanor. They're going to go out there, they put on a show, it's going to be quick, we're going to move on. And I liked that Clash. Not everybody does. Not everybody, I get it. Not everybody is all about a little half-hour teaser with a handful of drivers. I get it. And but
I thought it was great.
Look, that's just me. I thought it was good also to kind of work the bugs out for the broadcast or the network that's coming in for the whole 2 weeks or the week and a half of Daytona Speedweeks. And again, it was a race that you hated to be left out of. And it's kind of like the chase, right? Only a few drivers get to make it. And man, when you're not one of those guys, it's a stain. It sucks.
You want to be there.
Yeah, you feel like you don't. You feel
you got left out.
You feel like you don't measure up. And so if you can't be fast enough to get the pole earlier, the year before and lock your way into the race, it sucked sitting there watching those guys that did, and they all walked around like, I'm one of the faster guys here. It
was a class.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty neat.
Even the ones that we ran, I don't remember ever being in the Clash and and being like, man, let's just take it easy tonight. Like we were going to win.
It was a fun race that you just, you're going to bust your ass for about a half hour and work your guts out and whatever happened.
It was still a good race.
Yeah, it was. But I don't know. I don't know that it'll ever go back to that. They would have to, I think NASCAR would have to embrace Speedweeks again, embrace, a long form schedule of activity at Daytona.
Is that bad?
I don't know that they're eager to do that. I don't know. I don't know that that's interesting for the owners have a role or the owners have some leverage. Do they want to go down there and spend more money doing things, or would they rather just go to Bowman Gray and do it? I mean, they tore up some at Bowman Gray. I don't know that they're tearing up less at either track, right? I mean, people will say that,
Did the Speedweeks like it was kind of set the tone for Daytona 500 to be like it's Speedweeks, so you kind of.
It was a good build up. That's
fun. What I'm saying. Yeah. Like you were down there, you had the Clash, you had Daytona 500 qualifying, then you took a break for a little bit, go to the short tracks, watch a couple nights, and then it started going into it.
Yeah, and I felt like too that being there with NASCAR being over at the big track, it amplified the short track.
I thought so too.
You had a lot of people in the industry that would go over to those races and like you say, go check it out for a night or two, or even participate. And so it's odd to not be there and to be home or wherever we go,
and
right?
They're racing,
right? And in Florida near Daytona.
Yeah,
it is odd, but it was kind of a neat deal because we had if you had qualifying and the Clash on Sunday, the full week before the 500, you had people coming in, camping, getting their set up, and those people would be in town, enjoying Daytona. They would go over to the dirt track or to the paved track, watch a little short track racing, and it was just buzzing. The town was buzzing.
It slowly built.
Yeah, it did. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, but, I agree.
I don't know if the demand's there for that. I don't know if that's even realistic to ever have that come back and be like it was.
I think it could.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of conversation about that over the Clash, which was a successful event at Bowman Gray, and if it remains there, that's fine with me. But I think the weather's the issue. I mean, and it's cold. Even if we don't get the snow, it's just uncomfortable that time of year in Winston-Salem, and we'll see how this All-Star at Dover experience goes. Hopefully, Wilkesboro's locked in as a points race for the foreseeable future. And, whatever happens to the All-Star race is anybody's guess. With all that said, Ben Kennedy did say recently that they're looking at some new venues, a couple new venues for the 2027 schedule and beyond. So, yeah. And that brings me to a list that Jeff Gluck put together, the top 10 most anticipated races of the season. Right? We got a new venue at the top of his list, San Diego. He has San Diego first, Homestead second, Chicagoland third, and then the Daytona 500. Pretty good list. You got Southern 500 on there, Talladega 2, Charlotte 2, Martinsville 2, Coke 600, Brickyard, 2 Charlotte races in the top 10. And the Brickyard 10th, way down the list. It's the Brickyard. I don't see a big deal with this list. No problem. I would probably put the Daytona 500 ahead of Homestead, Chicagoland. I don't got a problem with San Diego. I'm looking forward to it. It would make my list.
Yeah,
first.
It wouldn't be number one.
No. So I'd say Daytona 500.
Yep.
And then I might have, like Martinsville 2, Charlotte 2, Talladega 2, Homestead, all of those ahead of San Diego and Chicago. The 600 has been a great race the last couple of years. It'd definitely be in my list. The Brickyard would probably not make my list. Top 10 anyways.
Do you think now that we're not this win and you're in playoffs, the importance and just of winning the 500 has made that a little better this year? Like we're not going to be like, oh, they're in the playoffs now. It's going to be more of celebrating winning the 500.
Yeah, that's a very subtle change though. I mean, it's not like a big... It's not like a huge deal. I feel like that change is us just going back to how it used to be and how things should be naturally, right? Like you go out, you try to win every race. If you win, you feel lucky, you feel fortunate, and you celebrated what you did that day at that track, and you didn't look so far ahead, right? You didn't go, damn, that helps us in the playoffs.
You definitely looked further ahead.
Yeah. So now, you can just celebrate the moment, live in the moment, and enjoy the race. Oh,
He called you out.
Who did?
Jeff for his
What'd he
11th pick. Cover your eyes, Dale Jr. North Wilkesboro's 11.
Oh, I mean, it made the list.
Well, yeah, he actually ranked all 30s.
Damn, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget he did. Cover your eyes. Why am I covering my eyes? 11th. That's good. That is North Wilkesboro literally is on this list right behind the 600, arguably the best race of the year over the past couple of years, and Brickyard. What? Why is that bad? That's great. Wilkesboro's first points race, and it's 11th on the list.
I don't know, maybe you can ask him about it.
I think this is a good ranking. This ranking will likely be one that gets the most disagreement. But I don't think it's that big of a hot take to put Wilkesboro this low. See, he thinks it's low. I think it's high.
I think it's in the right area.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's a race that didn't exist for 20 years. It pops back on the schedule, and it's 11th. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Can I finish reading it? I was wondering if you said any more. I'm just kidding.
It's weird San Diego's first, though, to me.
Yeah.
The anticipation.
I understand why he ranked the things he ranked them the way he ranked them, and that's Jeff. Jeff's got his own opinion. I just would have. I'm excited about San Diego, but I'm
excited about it.
I've not seen a race at San Diego. I've seen races at these other tracks. I know what I'm getting.
I'm more excited for Chicagoland.
I think the San Diego is a boom or bust. The boom or bust risk. When you got fantasy football players. And you're like, who should I start? And they're like, well, this guy could have a great game, but he could have an equally horrible game.
He's going to blow his knee out.
This guy's consistent. Maybe not as flashy. So I am that's why I wouldn't rank San Diego first, because I don't know if it's going to be boom or bust. Now, going there the first time, there'll be excitement no matter what.
It will be, yeah.
The shots will be cool and some other things.
It will
the
be.
race itself, who knows?
Yeah. And the Daytona 500 just deserves
it's always one.
respect. The Daytona 500 is the biggest race of the year, and there's no change in that. They would something drastic would have to happen for that to fall off. Yeah. Coke 600, man, I'd bump it up a little bit, but that's what in y'all's opinion, has the Coke 600 not been the best race of the year? What's been the best race? What was the race last year where you were like, damn, that was good? Do you remember?
No, I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, the Coke 600 is good.
Yeah.
Really good.
But he's got Coke 600 ranked below the Charlotte too.
That makes sense. It's gonna be short. It's gonna be in the final 10 for the chase.
Yeah.
So
I know. I agree. Listen, I agree. But from everything that I've been told, everything that I've been told about how the playoffs, the chase, mine's a hard time switching. Everything that I've been told about how the points work in the regular season, the playoffs or the chase is going to be great because, yes, we're going to be deciding, but a lot of things that happen in the regular season are going to determine who's successful and who's not in the chase. Making the chase merely does not level the field and guarantee everybody a shot. If you're, I guess they ran a bunch of models and...
Well, you're saying if you're not top 4 or 5, you got no chance.
Right.
Yeah.
So while, yes, those races in the back half of the chase will be anticipated for sure. Yes, they make my list. Now that the points play out the way they are and we'll have a genuine champion that worked all year long, I see the way I look at the points and the way I look at the way I look at the way a champion will build his portfolio of the year, right? The Charlotte 600 is, in my opinion, almost as important as the second race.
It's the most important race of the season, really, the 600.
Yeah.
Because you got more points there for you.
Yeah, with the extra stage.
Yeah.
True. Well, I hope that Charlotte delivers. A lot of pressure. They went away from the Roval in the second race of the year, which I'm glad because I didn't like the Roval. A lot of fans did like the Roval, and I'm sure it'll come back. You know, that's the great thing about it is Marcus, if he sees an opportunity and knows that fans are demanding it, he will make the change. Things move slower than we want them to. For example, I felt like they should have went to the Oval last year. Well, it takes a while for this to happen, and here we are. And if the demand comes back for the Roval, for road course racing, if that becomes this incredible thing, absolutely he can flip a switch. And it's not that easy. I'm sure he'll laugh at that, but they can change it right back and go back to running the Roval and make everybody happy. They made this change. I believe it's the right change. I hope that it's a fantastic race in the back half of the year. I remember as a child going to Charlotte in October. It was always around my birthday, and that being a pretty special weekend for me and watching my dad race, and excited that race is back in the back half of the year. Yeah. So also we have the Kaulig Ram truck program. What was it called? Race for the Seat.
Race for the Seat, yeah.
Minnie Tyrrell, one of our own from the Cars Tour, has won the seat. He'll have a 1-season deal in one of the 5 Ram trucks. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Minnie's a good driver. There was, in my opinion, not a bad driver in that group. All of those guys that were in the show could race on Fridays in the trucks or Saturdays, whenever, they could, all of them could go into the truck series, I think, and be competitive, and all of them, it wasn't a standout, but Minnie did everything he needed to do to be able to secure this opportunity. So I'm excited for Minnie, and it's great for the Cars Tour that a guy like that came through our series and worked his way into opportunities like this. And, so be interesting to see how Ram does this year with Kaulig. They're putting they're going to put a lot of money and effort and funding and support into that. Kaulig's basically shifted all of its focus, from the Xfinity side, where they were pretty competitive, had great programs, putting a bunch behind their truck deals. But they got 5 trucks. Tony Stewart will be racing in Daytona in one of those. You got Butterbean, who's also a Cars Tour alumni and champion. I think
Cletus is racing.
Cletus, yeah. So
Travis Pastrana.
Yeah. So it's going to be
the truck races. He's got like Stenhouse in it too. I'm pretty sure Stenhouse is in the race.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there he is in the 40.
John Hunter,
Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
John Hunter.
Yeah, the truck race is going to be worth watching for sure. Just to kind of see, not only with these names, but to see Dodge back.
Justin Haley back there too with the Dodge deal.
Yeah. So it'll be but we'll go to Daytona. Everything that happens at Daytona's, predicted by the draft and all of those things, and trying to miss the chaos. We really won't get to see the pure identity of the Dodge program till we get a couple, 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season. We'll start to see the identity of each of those individual teams that make up the Dodge program. I'm curious. I'm interested to see how it goes and how the drivers fare on the racetrack, how Minnie adapts to this type of race car with this type of tire. He's never really ran on a radial that much. The tires that we race in the Cars Tour or the standard bi-supply tire that Hoosier builds, and completely unique experience.
Yeah, different feel.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full trying to get adapted to that. Dirty Mo Media, Junior Motorsports, and I have a new partner this year, and we couldn't be more excited about this. A lot of y'all may have heard Arby's has come on board and we're loving every second of it. We recently went to their store, a local store here in Cornelius, North Carolina, for a commercial shoot. We had a great time. I think we shot a great commercial. You'll be able to see the new commercial on TV during the Daytona 500 weekend. And Arby's has entered the chat with a meal deal that raises the bar for value. Introducing the new meat and 3 box for $7.99 that's filled with Arby's quality favorites. Each meat and 3 box includes your choice of one sandwich, the classic roast beef that is hand sliced and slow roasted, or the crispy chicken sandwich, or you can go with the crispy fish sandwich. All this comes with the melty mozzarella sticks, some crispy curly fries, everybody loves those, and a peach cobbler roll for dessert, guys. You got to try that dessert. It's really good. And you get a small drink. It's called Meat and 3, but you're actually getting 5 items, all for only $7.99. Nobody out there is giving you this much value for your money. This is a value meal that won't leave you hungry. You know, you don't have to settle for less when you get more from Arby's. Available for a limited time at participating locations while supplies last. Prices may vary. Get your Meat and 3 box at an Arby's near you today. We got some new Dirty Mo Media merch that's out this year.
There's a couple next to you if you want to.
Oh, really?
To your left. Table.
Oh. This is a cool one. I love the colors, and it does look like a Daytona, like a shirt you would buy in Daytona off of a souvenir rig.
It does.
Out front of the racetrack back in the 80s. But bring back Speedweeks, Daytona. I didn't have anything to do with this, NASCAR. That wasn't my idea. But I'm
you like the shirt?
I'm sure NASCAR loves that shirt. But anyways, it's all in fun. The Connor Zilisch leaves the Xfinity Series, leaves Junior Motorsports, goes in the Cup Series next year. What's the expectation, TJ, for Connor Zilisch?
Man, it's tough being a rookie in the Cup Series. I would say top 20. Top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be disappointing if they didn't do that. He would be extremely disappointed if he run outside the top 20 in points.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
But I'm just saying, if he goes into Daytona.
What's overachieving, I guess? Let me ask you that. What if he finished X, you'd go, damn, that's pretty solid.
Playoffs.
I think he can make the playoffs because I think he's going to be very competitive at the road courses.
Is that enough?
I don't know. That's if you leave Daytona and Atlanta and he gets caught up in 2 wrecks, is he going to climb back into the top 20?
That's another thing.
That's tough.
The losses hurt now.
I don't think that's going to be super tough for a rookie.
When I raced in the Chase era, your first 4 weeks was
the tone of the season.
If you had a bad 4 weeks and you were somewhere outside the top 18 in points, it seems like, man, we can get that back. No, everybody's racing in all these races. Like you're not going out there and getting chunks of points when the rest of the field's sitting at home.
No,
they're also getting points.
The tiniest bit every week.
Like you'll have a good day, but you look around you in the running order and it's like, well, all the guys I'm trying to chase down had good days.
Mm-hmm. All your mulligans are gone already. You don't have any more.
That's right. Yeah, you use them up. If you have bad days in the first 2 or 3 weeks, you don't have mulligans anymore, and you can't. And everybody's going to have that, kind of low stretch in the summer or right before the playoffs. Everybody's going to have a part of the season where they go, man, we got to get going. Mm-hmm. We got to get our mojo back. And if you start off the season bad, you're out of it.
Especially for a rookie.
I'd love to see the stats on.
I know
anybody in the Chase era that came back from. 4 mid-20s finishes to finish, to challenge, right, for the championship.
We were 36 in points after 2 races 2 years ago, and we did climb back to 7th, but we got really hot during the summer. But it's so hard to do. I don't know, man. If you come out of Atlanta and you're in the high mid-30s in points,
bad trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
what kind of car will Trackhouse? Like I feel like at times last year they didn't have a fast car. Like
they did sometimes, and sometimes they didn't.
SVG getting better can help him a lot because I think SVG got a lot better last year.
I think Connor's going to continue to push SVG at the ovals. I think they're both good for each other. Mm-hmm. SVG will challenge Connor at the road courses, and they're both very competitive at the road courses, and they're probably coming into the Cup Series going to find themselves actually racing around each other a lot on the ovals. Now, will Connor spring forward as the season goes and get really, really, really improve at the ovals? I'm not sure. He could. But I think that's going to push SVG to continue to get better at ovals, and they will both push each other at the road courses to succeed. And I think that's good for both drivers. Be interesting to see kind of how their relationship develops over the course of the year, because they seem to get along great, but they've had some on-track things where we raced with them at Chicago, and SVG put Connor in the wall, wins the race, and you kind of got to, feel great for one, bad for the other. And
Watkins Glen.
Yeah, they raced each other hard at the Glen. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know they'll try to take better care of each other, being teammates, pure teammates on the Cup side.
I don't necessarily know that I have a position for Connor for expectation wise. I just want to see Connor improve as he goes back to these tracks for the second time. If he goes to, Martinsville the second time, does he go from 20th to 15th? You know what I mean? Like we've all seen the improvement from SVG as he goes back to these places and learns. I think I just want to see Connor become more and more in the picture as the season goes on.
Yeah, I agree.
Bob Pockris reported that there's going to be close to 20 drivers that are free agents after the end of the year. Who are some drivers that we need to see a step forward in their career?
Give me a list.
Yeah, I need to see the drivers.
Well, he doesn't have the specific list, but
just show us the points from last year. Dude, everybody.
Yeah, I don't.
But who do you think could make that jump? Is there anybody at the end of the year you're like, okay, I'm starting to see something?
I guess the question that I got for you is Carson Hocevar signed an extension at Spire. A lot of people were saying he didn't need to do that. Why would he do that? He's a rising prospect, and certainly could have landed an opportunity with a better race team. What's y'all's take on that? I did y'all see the chatter around that?
No, I didn't see a lot of it.
Yeah.
But why would he do that in your opinion?
Well, I think this was right after the Clash, and I'm sitting there going, man, that guy was driving a car for Spire and almost in position to win the race. Spire has changed how their model. They're not this start and park, mail it in. We're gonna nickel and dime our way into a decent,
the second half of the year was
position.
A struggle though.
Well, that was mostly on him.
I don't know. It might have been him. I didn't notice the cars being overly dominant they were. It was kind of after Nashville, that time frame.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
well,
I would say though, for him, it locks him up so that he's got some security. If he goes on a run, don't you think the big three can go in and buy him at least he's got a little security now?
Listen, it doesn't seem like contracts are what they used to be anymore. Could a team go in and buy him out or whatever? I'm sure. But I believe the model that I believe that the team that Spire is today isn't the team that we thought they were years ago. I believe the money
100%.
I believe the money that's come in to support Spire is now it's I don't know that it's that team that somebody could walk in and go, hey, I want your driver. We do this and this for you. We're taking your driver, and I'm going to give you this guy. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Is it fair to say the floor has never been higher in NASCAR?
For who?
The floor, the bottom teams have the
floor is, yes, the floor is higher because there's not really a lot of weak teams. Are we going to finish
talking about Hocevar?
But that's what I'm saying though with Spire. You're not having, there's not the.
Well, I didn't know where you were going. I thought you were changing the whole subject.
No.
I just feel like that Spire's a great team. I think people are discounting how much they've grown and become. They become a team that can put competitive winning cars on the track. And so,
if you were to tell me that Carson Hocevar is going to win a race this year or possibly two, I would not be really surprised.
I would have thought he might have had that chance last year.
100%. I do also think if he think about what do you think about this as a driver? Does he fit the mold of some of these other places.
I'd say that might be a reason why it's a good idea for him to sign with Spire, because they appreciate
fit.
him. They appreciate him for who he is, and they take him with all his flaws and imperfections. And of course, he's not always going to have them. He's also said, look, I'm not going to change how I race and what I do on the racetrack. Some of the things that he did on the racetrack last year probably did sour some of the big three owners, Gibbs, Hendrick, Penske. But I'm telling you, if you win races, if he goes out and wins a couple races, everybody can look the other way. And
Yeah.
and they'll have short-term memory, right, about all the times he ran into their race cars. But I think it was a good idea for Carson to lock that in, give himself security. He knows where he's going to be. He can continue to build.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of great momentum as an organization.
He seems to fit well there.
They've I hope that he is as loyal to them, I guess, as they've been to him, because I think together they can do some great things over the course of that agreement.
Yeah.
Another organization that'll be interesting to see if they can kind of step it up in the same way that Spire has, and we're looking right at them right there. It's Legacy. Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek have shown over the past couple of years that when given the right equipment and when things are going well for them, they can go out and get the results. I know Jimmy personally has made a ton of investments and changes in the program, hires. They have done a lot of things to try to find a way to establish that program. I think it's a big year for them to go out and see if they can, if the results can be improved. And it's really, I'm looking at results on an average, right? You look at what they did last year, average finish, average running position, things like that over the course of the season. They want to see an improvement in all those metrics at the end of this year. I'll be interested to see how Kaulig does, having left the Chevrolet fold. They're losing a majority of all of the support they would get with Sim, Aero, all the data and information that the teams share. All that falls away with this new Ram deal. And so can they field competitive Cup cars with one arm tied behind their back?
Yeah. AJ had some speed last year.
Mm-hmm.
Numerous times he was really fast.
Yep. It'll be a big... Let's see. I think it's a big year for. Listen, every team has a ton of pressure on them, and there's not a team in the field that is not feeling some type of pressure to improve. Front Row would be another team where I feel like a couple of years ago, Front Row was starting to find some traction. Went to Winter Circle with Michael McDowell. They were overachieving, in my opinion, in some areas. With this current driver lineup with Gilliland, Zane Smith, and Noah, they just haven't been able to really go out there and lock down the results. Noah has some moments here and there. So does Zane. They both, Todd, they all show these like little brief spots of, well, they do belong in the series, but what's the direction of the organization, right? What can we see in terms of results on the racetrack where you're like, oh, okay, they're finally figuring something out, or they're turning the corner? TJ, they're a Ford team. You guys, you probably know that team better than I do, being in the Ford camp with Brad. What's holding back Front Row, in your opinion?
Well, last year I thought they brought in a lot of new faces, and I think with Noah coming over there, and you kind of lost the leader there was McDowell forever, and I kind of felt like everything kind of went through him, and he was an established guy, and they were making their way. They were pretty competitive. First Daytona, Atlanta, they were on the front row, racing for wins, and I don't know. I feel like bringing in group of, they've got really young drivers, man. Like young drivers. With
you think that, there was this there was this sort of idea that McDowell had a big impact on other things outside of the driver's seat in terms of hiring good people. He really studied who they could hire. Who they can hire is a very narrow, small
allotment of people
because they don't have the funding to really just go get the best guy and overpay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to be smart, selective, and I heard, was really a big part of that. All right, man, I've studied this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He can help us. We can get him at this number, and I think he'll make us better in this space. And he was part of that in multiple moments, and that's why I thought you saw the performance on the racetrack improve and to give them that opportunity to get better. And now that he's not there, do you think that's kind of what they're missing?
I do. Michael's very detailed, and he's very involved with that type of stuff, like you said. And I've talked to Michael many times, just BSing with him, and he's definitely detailed like that and understands. He's been around it a while, so he knows people. He knows the areas that he wants to get better. He's really good at, like you said, he's really good at picking the areas to improve at, and it showed at times. Like, you weren't the top guy every week, but there were places during the season when they really shined, and I thought he brought a lot of that to the table.
Yeah, I could sit here with you and talk all day about teams and organizations, and RCR, Ty Gibbs. There's a bunch of question marks on how these teams might go into the season. There's been changes with Jim Pulliam going over to Kyle Busch. They'll need, like I said earlier, you're going to need 4 or 5 weeks to kind of get a vibe on how these teams are doing and what might be a little bit different if they've kind of improved and whatnot. Brad Keselowski coming back from an injury in the offseason. I saw Brad in the drop-off line this morning. He looks ready to go. A lot of good momentum over at RFK.
TJ, how much do you want to just get back out there? Last year, the start of the season wasn't a great one.
That was terrible. That made the whole rest of the season really hard. The first 4 weeks getting caught up in crashes, basically, Atlanta, Daytona, Phoenix, just made it a huge struggle. And you got to go for the win, so you throw the Hail Marys a lot more instead of being consistent. I feel like we can be consistent, and we had a lot of great races last year. We just didn't capitalize on them. Bristol leading the race, get caught up with the 41 coming out in front of us, and Bubba. Atlanta lined up and get pass instead of push with Chase and Alex, but that's how it worked out. And Iowa, I feel like we had the best car, and we had Byron makes it 200 laps further than he should have on fuel, but I feel like we were in position to win 3-4 races last year and just missed it by that little bit. And if, that's all it takes to do it. But I'm optimistic about this year. We can come out of Daytona and Atlanta with some good runs and start building.
Do we expect, I know Brad's cleared to race, but do you expect it to how hard is it to get back in the car with that kind of injury?
Honestly, I don't. I feel like when you get to Daytona, it's going to be easier to get back in the car. I don't think it's going to be a question. I think
you've been around him. How's the mobility? How's he moving?
I think he's been great. As far as moving ahead of schedule, and he's been PT all day, every day, just rehabbing the heck out of it and doing everything he can do, body wise and stuff. I don't see Brad having any issue at all. And I do think as the weeks get closer to Daytona, the new fire suits come out, it ramps up. You get more excited, and I think that pushes guys to get motivated to do it as well. So I don't anticipate any issues at all, and I feel like when we go out there to practice and we roll off for the race, we're gonna have our game plan dialed in and hopefully be a huge factor.
All right, everybody, the 2026 NASCAR season is officially here, and you know what that means. It means new rides, new paint schemes, and another year of unforgettable moments out on the racetrack. And if you want to bring all of that action home, you've got to check out Lionel Racing. They're the official diecast of NASCAR. They've got the largest selection of officially licensed NASCAR diecasts. From race wins to the newest cars hitting the track, this season. They've got it all. They're incredibly detailed with the same paint and the same sponsors and same attitude that you see on race day. They're must-haves for collectors and fans alike. And right now, to kick off the season, Lionel Racing is offering free domestic shipping when you use promo code DOWNLOAD26. That's free shipping just for the fans of the Dale Jr. Download. So head over to LionelRacing.com. Make sure to grab your favorite driver's latest diecast and start the 2026 season the right way. That's Download 26 for free shipping only at LionelRacing.com. Hey, NASCAR fans. Thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Ask Junior. We are in the studio, me and TJ, cranking out another Dale Jr. Download, episode 688. And listen up, fans. Xfinity is waving the red flag on internet price hikes. They're raising the green flag for savings. Now you get the speed and reliability and the Wi-Fi you need. Locked in at one price for 5 years. No surprises, no late yellows, just a straight shot to victory lane. We've got a winner, folks, and it's Xfinity. Xfinity, imagine that. I've used the service, and it's good. And they've never raised the price on me. As long as I've been a customer, and my speeds actually increased over a couple of years. But good service, good reliable service, and we have the location where I have the service, TJ, is like way out on the end of the line.
Oh, you're at the end?
Oh, yep. And if you look at the power line and stuff, it's kind of rough, and you're kind of wondering how the service is so reliable. But anytime we have an outage in our area, it's quick to fix. So, and it's rare that happens, but they're quick. The service is good. And, so I'm pretty happy as a customer. But let's get to some questions. I guess everybody's kind of rolling in.
Yep. First question coming from Tony. We got the Olympics going on right now. He said, I saw a photo of you carrying the Olympic torch. One, is this real? How far did you run with it? And were you wore out afterwards?
I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 01. The torch came through Charlotte. A couple of different drivers got to carry it. This is how it works. At least this is how it worked that day. So growing up, right, you've seen this torch get carried across the country, and you're like, man, I wonder how long somebody runs with this thing. And you're thinking it's like, these regular, everyday, average people that are somewhat athletic, right, are running this thing from city to city for miles. And maybe that's part of what kind of happens. But once it arrived to Charlotte, there was a planned route that the torch would go, and then it would get to a place where it would be lit, and the flame would be lit. And I suppose they light that flame in that city, and the next day they'll take that flame, relight the torch, and now the torch is back on its route to the next town. They had, I remember this. I'm like, okay, man, I knew about 3 or 4 people before me who was carrying the torch, and I think there's a couple drivers, Dale Jarrett and a few other people, and then I knew the people after me, the next couple of people that were going to be carrying the torch, and our route was not a direct route to the flame, right, to where we're going to light the flame. We ran around blocks that we probably didn't have to run around. They lengthened the route to be able to add all these individuals into it. And I think you just jog, and there's people on the side of the road, kind of like a parade, cheering you on, waving. Everybody gets this outfit they're going to wear. You get that a couple of days ahead of time. I remember that. And the torch that I carried is mine. And so, I'm running to somebody, and they've got their own torch, and I light theirs. And the flame is what gets passed more so than the torch itself. And so, but they had us running almost literally running in circles. And so, I ran around these blocks, and I'm like, well, I just could have went down that street and not had to do all that. But they're like, all right, man, you're going to meet this person, and then you're going to and that was the only nervous part, right? Is don't let the flame go out. Right? There was no worry or threat of it going out while you're jogging. But when you pass it to the next person or whatever, I don't know, you just didn't want it to go out. They never told you anything about that. They never said, be careful of this, don't do that. So I get to the next person. I don't even remember who it was. Might have been Dale Jarrett. Teresa. I don't know who it was. Teresa did a leg. And
Yeah, it was.
in fact, I feel like she was the one that actually got to light the big deal at the end.
Because your bib you had a little sticker 166. She had 167.
Yeah. And so when it's all over with, they give you your torch. I've got it. I've still got that. I still got the outfit.
You should wear it sometime.
No. But it's fun. I was honored. It's kind of, it's one of them things where you're like, wow, I want it. I've heard about this, saw this all my life, all through my childhood, and now I'm going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
Yeah, pretty neat. So,
have you guys watched any of the Olympics?
I've just seen a
over
couple
the years?
highlights.
I'm saying these
This year.
past Winter Olympics is going on right now.
I've seen a couple highlights.
Yeah, I have it.
Anything that you think you could do? Curling, I feel like it's always the.
I've only seen a lot of
Yeah.
I saw the downhill deal, which was terrible.
Oh, with Lindsey Vonn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't look too good.
No.
The speed skating, where there's multiple people on the track.
I love when there's like 30 of them out
Yes,
there. It's
that's
chaos.
pretty neat. Yeah. So I went to South Korea for the Winter Olympics. The bobsled's badass. Really anything going down that course. I don't care what it is, luge, all those things.
Did you see the Americans the other day? Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't good.
only one guy got in the bobsled.
Yeah, they all.
They didn't
fumbled.
get down.
There was a video. It was
They
like
didn't
when
get
I put
in.
a parlay together and only one leg hits.
Yeah. Well, the bobsled's cool because to me that's kind of close to racing a car. And yeah, we're not traditionally that great at it. There's other countries that are just faster. I don't know the intricacies or the why does these guys always win? What is it about them, their sled, whatever? I do know that when Jeff Bodine got involved in the bobsled, they worked really hard and we did improve. But that's not quite enough. So going to that's really cool, but also, when they get on the bigger track, there's like a big speed. They have the small track where there's like 4 of them out there running around wide ass open. But then they have this real big track where there's about 20 or 25 of them out there. And it's pretty fun to watch.
Enjoy it.
They kind of pace themselves right to save their energy, and all of a sudden somebody takes off and you're like, it's too soon. You're going to get run down. Maybe not.
Have you seen the clip of the one where they're doing that and the one person takes off and catches the back of the pack? Mm-hmm. And then no one else kind of takes off, and they all just kind of stay in line, and they ended up finishing the race like a lap early than everyone else. Like they almost lapped people.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, so she went out and lapped them once and then just got to the back of the pack and just stayed there. And they all forgot that she was a lap ahead.
Oh, yeah.
And just strolled with them. And she finishes and they're all like, what happened? Like, no, you were a lap down and you didn't realize it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the hockey's going to be great. A lot of passion and excitement around hockey, male and female.
Yeah.
I was able to be at a couple of games in South Korea where we had some success, and the energy in the state in the room was cool. So yeah, I mean that's just we'll be tuning in.
Yep. Next question. Person was asking. He's seen you wear the sweatshirt, your Filter Time sweatshirt, and was wondering how that's going and what exactly is it.
Whoa, Filter Time is going great. Filter Time's been going on for about 5 years. Me and a friend started this business where basically it's home air filters. If your HVAC needs clean filters, you can get a subscription from Filter Time and we'll mail them to you. And I'm a customer of my own business, right, to kind of see what the experience is like. And I've adjusted my frequency of how often I get the filters because I got them every 3 months, which I thought that was kind of the normal. But then I would, they would be really clean. Maybe I don't need them but every 6 months. And so you can make that adjustment and you can cancel anytime. There's no like contract or anything like that. The number one reason why your HVAC fails is because the filter's dirty. It's working overtime, right? Trying to push air through a dirty filter. And it's hard to remember with all the things we got going on in our lives to change that. And I'll mail you the filters, and when they show up on your doorstep, that's your reminder. Change them, put the dirty ones in the box, you're done. And so it's worked out really good. I wasn't sure that this was going to be a success, but it's so convenient, and our prices are on par with all the other brands. And so
it's easier than going to the store, because then you got to track down all the 2-3 different
and
sizes.
you go to the store, right? If I go to Lowe's for filters, I'm gonna spend $300 on other I don't need, And so, and leave without the filters.
Yeah, you're gonna forget.
Yeah.
You're just not going to change them.
And you don't need to stockpiling filters in your house is so annoying, because
they're big
you
and
don't
bulky.
remember to change them, and you look and you found them and you're like,
you go buy new ones because you couldn't find the old ones.
Yeah.
When was the last time I changed them? And you just don't worry about it.
So what I like about it is I take the old filters and I put them in the box. The new filters came in and throw the whole box out together.
That's right.
And then
real convenient.
it's easy.
Yeah, just let us help you. Go on filterdime.com, get your plan. We'll mail them to you. If you don't like it, you can cancel. Give it a shot.
Next question. What do you think of Ryan Blaney's mustache?
It's getting big.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the real deal. Yeah. I mean, Ryan's the guy that, grows the beard and the mustache, I guess he bought a llama. Read somewhere where he got a llama.
Yeah, because it protects some other animals, apparently.
I don't know. I'm asking him about that. I think we might get him on a show here in a couple weeks.
But do you think he needs to just keep letting it grow, cut it?
I mean, it's past that point. I mean,
who are we to tell Ryan Blaney about his grooming habits?
Agreed.
I don't know. I'm just going to let him do what he wants to do. I think it's fine. Showing a little personality.
Yeah, who cares?
It reminds me of that guy in the Gangs of New York.
Never seen the movie.
You never seen? Oh, sorry. Who's seen the movie in here? All right, you know what I'm talking about.
TJ, have you?
Was Daniel Day-Lewis is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Butcher.
He looks like the Butcher.
I like it. Keep it going.
Yeah.
I feel like he looks like the guy. Remember that cartoon movie, The Lorax? You know what I'm talking about?
Micah does.
Look it up. You'll see.
Very nice.
That's what it looks like. The Lorax.
Our next question. If you could clone yourself to remove one task that you do daily, what would it be?
That's a great question. Yeah.
If you could clone yourself to do one task,
Like mine would be laundry. I don't want to fold it, don't want to put it away.
you do that daily?
Or weekly, like something that you do a good amount.
Man, I'm realizing that I got it pretty good.
Carpet.
Yeah.
What about a pickup line? Sitting in that.
I like that. I don't want to do anything that involves my kids. I want to clone myself to do that.
There's some tedious work. Like for me, it would be like taking my radios out, plugging them in, handling all that stuff, putting it back in, packing it up, because that's tedious.
Making your videos and stuff. Your
there's
driver
definitely
tools.
There's definitely some tedious video work that could cut out some hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be badass to have a clone
Oh,
that you could be like,
Two Dales.
do this, go do this job,
Yeah.
Go over here and clean this up, or go.
Hey, Amy's mad. Go cheer her up.
Yeah.
You go sleep in bed tonight. I want the couch.
No. Just to work, just to clean up, fix straight, organize something.
Go to the store.
My garage, right, is in my house. I've got my little man garage with my toolbox and all my stuff, and I've let it get really unorganized. A lot of crap laying everywhere. Counter just covered in things. It's
I hate
stacked. I know, and I'm not normally like that. We've been going and going and going, so busy this off season, and that drives me crazy. So like that, I would be like organizing, keeping stuff organized.
That would be mine.
Yeah,
I just
go to my closet, like I do the purge once a year or so. Go in my closet, get rid of all the t-shirts I'm not wearing, and because I am in the with the position that I have, I'm not a willing participant, but I'm a t-shirt collector. Like people are always giving me shirts. Shirts are always coming through here. New Junior Motorsport shirts, new sponsor shirts, this shirt, that shirt, this shirt. My closet in a period of a year just gets bursting at the seams with like all the new apparel that we get and the partnerships and stuff that we acquire. And so I have to go, like our Junior Motorsports logo changed, right? And so it just says Junior Motorsports. It did say Junior Motorsports. And so they, all the old stuff I got, go in there and get it out, stuff like that. That's what I'd ask them to do.
I like that. This next question.
I got another idea.
Let's hear it.
I, for a long time, have wanted to start a store on eBay. And I would clone myself and have myself running a store, an eBay store, where I could sell sheet metal, used sheet metal, things that I want to sell. I'm saying this publicly because I got to get this on my chest. I have been collecting and collecting and collecting for years, collecting so much crap. Models from the 70s still in the wrapper, just racing souvenirs, old vintage racing souvenirs, tons and tons of sheet metal, not even all my own sheet metal. And I'm sort of getting to the point to where I'm like, I need to get rid of some of this stuff. And I want an eBay store where I can sell and bargain and haggle because it's fun. But if I did that, people would be like, why is he selling stuff?
So you kind of want to do it yourself. So you don't.
I do want to. I enjoy
because David said, dude, that's called an intern.
Well, I enjoy listing something and seeing what the demand is, seeing what the value of it might be, seeing someone else get it and enjoy it. People would be surprised when I got into road biking. Jimmy convinced me that I needed to do that, and I was trying to get in better shape, and so I went and bought all this gear that I didn't need to buy. Crap. I bought junk because I thought every piece of equipment for road biking was the same. And so I went on Amazon and got this cheap shoe and this cheap pair of pants and whatever, right? Well, none of it, I ended up hating it because it was not comfortable and wasn't the good stuff, and I needed, that was important. I learned. So I had all this stuff, and I sold it on eBay. And I mean, just for $20 here and there, but it's fun to, if there's there's a feeling of a
little rush.
Yeah. I don't want to throw it out. I'm not throwing it in the corner. It's not junk. I'm not putting it in a trash can. I'm not keeping it in my closet because I'm never going to use it. I want to, I want to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've thought about quitting everything that I'm doing.
Don't quit podcasting,
including this show. To just sell on eBay. Be the other side of the picker. The American pickers would go to these dudes' houses. I'll be the dude. And I'm just going to, I got laying everywhere.
What are you going to do when you're out of stuff?
I will be happy.
Yeah, but then what are you going to do? So you should probably keep the podcast.
I'll go back to work.
We're trying to put people out of jobs?
No, I'm just saying that I'm never going to truly quit. I'm just that I've really wanted to do this.
So let's do it.
Man.
Yeah, just do it.
I need to find somebody to help me. I can't run the store. I don't have time. Don't have the bandwidth.
We'll have an annex of Dirty Mo Media.
I need a person that can do this store for me. And we'll just list some things here and there. I'll share in the value, I'll share in the monetary success, whatever that may be.
All right, we're going to get on that. That's going to be next.
I'm curious as to what people think about that. Can I start a store? Because I know there'll be some pushback. People will be like, what's this jerk off? What's he need to sell stuff for? Why is he not just giving it to people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I want to enjoy the process.
I think people would enjoy, especially some of the stuff that you'd be selling is stuff that I think fans would truly enjoy having, and it's just sitting
Luke
there.
Combs got on the TV or got on the social media the last couple of days because he has discovered that sports cards collecting has boomed. Sports cards collecting has boomed in the last 6 years. I used to collect baseball cards back in the 90s during the junk wax era, and so I got some stuff that's kind of okay. Nothing real crazy. But he kind of got excited about it, and he's asking people online, like, hey man, what's the best way to do this? Right. You can go to the, collectors on eBay or physically go to wherever the expos are and buy the singles that you want, your favorite players, the autographs, the big ticket item that you want, or you can rip packs and try to hope to land something. And there's an art, sort of a theory behind the best way to sort of land something through packs. And he had to go on there after having a bit of a conversation about, like, he's trying to learn, right, through social media. Help me, guys. What do I need to do? What do I need to know? He had to go on there in a few moments and confirm, I'm not doing this to make money. You know, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to, like, hustle here. I just want to enjoy the process of ripping a pack and having and landing that car, right?
Mm-hmm.
That feeling. That's what
best.
Yeah. That's what selling that's what selling on eBay is also like. It's like, man, I'm gonna put this thing on there. Maybe nobody wants it. Maybe somebody does, and it takes off, and you're like, oh, somebody did want it. Lots of people wanted it.
That rush when you're bidding on something, and it's like, it's you and one other person, and they're watching the clock.
Yeah, and you might have 4 or 5 items listed, and you get to kind of check on them, see how they're doing. Oh man, nobody wants this. Yeah, if it don't sell, it don't sell. But when something does, you're like, oh crap! Now I gotta make a label. I gotta find a box. I gotta, and then you ship it to them, and you're like, hope they don't complain about it. Hope it is what they thought it was. You know?
Yeah. We got one person that said Dirty Mo QVC. Let's just get
I just have a lot of stuff, and I need to trim down because it's really giving me anxiety.
Amy'd probably be happy too.
She doesn't care.
It's not cluttering up anything?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not in her way.
So we have one more question we're going to add. I can't find where it's at, but someone was asking, what do you remember of the lead singer of Three Doors Down?
Oh, man, I'm so glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Brad Arnold passed away yesterday or 2 days ago. And so a long time ago, there was a place where bands would come play called the Tremont Music Hall, single floor, rough as hell. But it's where all the bands came before they were big enough to play at the amphitheater. And we always went there because we felt like we were seeing the bands before they got big. And it was intimate, you could get right up to the stage, and it's really cool. So we pull in, we'd get a limo, we'd go raise hell. It was a Budweiser days. We were partying, raising hell. So it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and they're playing. We get there, and we pulled up beside their bus. We didn't know it was their bus, but of course there's buses, so you assume it's a musical act. And somebody opened the door and said, we were just sitting there finishing a beer or something, getting ready to go inside. We weren't in a big rush. Somebody said, hey, you want to meet the lead singer of the band? And it was Brad, and he come and sat down in the limo, and me and him sat there and talked for 20 minutes. And they had just come out with Kryptonite. It'd been out a couple months maybe. And he was immediately, I recognized that he had no idea what was coming. He had no reference for the noise they were making and the attention they were attracting with their music. And he was from Mississippi, down around that area, around the Gulf, and just really humble, kind, nice, and in no way, like, not even a tiny bit, like, affected by this little bubble they were creating. And I recognized that, and I wasn't anybody to give any advice at the time, but I was like, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was like, you better hang on to your roots. You better hang on to home and the people you trust. Like, you're going into the stratosphere, and you're gonna, rocket to fame if you guys keep this up. And I, you could easily lose track of who you are. We were having that conversation, and I didn't know if I'd ever see the guy again. Well, turns out they do have tons of fame, success. Coincidentally, we get linked together through the Bud deal. We do some race cars. We did the deal with Tony Stewart. We had 3 doors down on the car several times. That brought us back together. We had a lot of opportunities where we hung out together during some promotional stuff. And he came to my 30th birthday party. A bunch of us got in a boxing ring in the middle of the night and beat out of each other, and he was one of those guys. I'm sitting there watching the lead singer of 3 Doors Down with a bloody mouth and standing there going, I'm ready for more. And so, we spent a lot of time together, and he got him a little spot out in the farmlands of Nashville. I went over to the Speedway and to test before we got back to Nashville Super Speedway. We went over to the Speedway to test with the National Guard car back in 2011 or something. And he come over. He's like, man, I live 5 minutes away from there. I'll come see you. So he come over, hung out. I had a table at the banquet in Nashville for the awards about 3 or 4 years ago. And I invited him and his wife to come sit with us at our table because he lived nearby. He came to the banquet, sat at our table, got up when we're done. Good to see you. Nice to talk to you. We're going home. Okay. And I was thankful to see them. They did this tour with Creed over the last 1.5, 2 years, and they had a ton of success with that. And I was glad for him and the band. And so I say all that to say that I knew him well. I felt like I appreciated his friendship. It meant a lot to me. He set a great example for me and others because of his humbleness and his kindness. All through all of that, right? They played the inauguration. There was a lot of success. There was a lot of tough moments. There was a lot of years where there wasn't much going on. To come back and have the success with the tour of the past couple of years. I mean, through all of those things, this guy never changed who he was and never seemed affected at all by the fame or success and the doors that would have opened up for him. He was as normal and humble the last day I saw him as he was the first day I met him. And he wanted it that way. He liked it. He liked being regular and normal and having his little piece of land to fool around with in his normal life. But he could get on that stage and turn into the lead singer of that band and put on a hell of a show. And he's just such a good soul, man. It's tough news to hear about him passing away. I knew he was sick. I'd been communicating with him a little bit through that and wasn't quite sure, how that was going. And, but, I've talked to, he's got good people around him. His wife, Jen, my heart goes out to all of his friends and his family. And he left a hell of an impact. I mean, he is, he was a good friend, a good dude, super good dude. Everybody that met him, you see all the, I'm looking on social media and reading all the comments from people that got to meet him. Even the best ones are the ones where I don't know this guy, but I met him once and this was the experience. Every one of them are like, man, he was just so kind, so nice, so generous. And so that's pretty neat to read those things and see that reaction.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to end Ask Junior.
Thanks for asking that question. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's a vigilant. Somebody on here had the vigilant guardian. Thank you.
Glad I had the opportunity to share because he was a good special dude. Deserves to be celebrated. All right, NASCAR fans, that's it for the Ask Juniors part of the show. Thanks for tuning in, supporting us. We're going to Daytona today, and going to go down there and see some practice in the morning. Speed Week is firing up, and we're all excited about that. Our teams are starting to pull haulers out of the parking lot and head on down to Daytona and down to Florida. Xfinity is waving the red flag, though, on internet price hikes. and raising the green flag for savings. Now you can get the speed and reliable Wi-Fi you need, locked in one price, 5 years, no surprises, no late yellows, no debris cautions. Just a straight shot to victory lane, just like you like it. We've got a winner in Xfinity. Imagine that. All right, everybody, this is the segment Dirty Modo, brought to you by FanDuel. We're going to have something really, really cool inside the FanDuel app this week. If you're trying to place bets in the Daytona 500, make sure you're following along to Dirty Mo Media socials to check it out. We're going to talk to Russell, the professor. He's with us. Good to see you, Russell.
Thanks for having me back, Dale.
You betcha, man. Tim's is in the house.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for coming through, Tim's.
Of course.
TJ.
What's up?
Travis, everybody's here. Tim's, you weren't in the room. I had a winning Super Bowl bet.
Oh, what do we
Yep.
got?
I took the Seahawks. I took an over total of 39.5.
Very nice.
And both quarterbacks to throw for 175 yards plus.
Nice. That must have been a sweat after the first half.
I mean, it's not going to pay me any dollars if you're not sweating.
That's true.
I took a gamble. You know, I've got a couple other bets going on right now with some college basketball today that you guys hate. It's like the minus 400s, and so
Which
at
lost
least
last
I was
week.
taking a little gamble.
Yeah, the one last week lost.
It is. Sometimes they lose. I think Gonzaga's. What is it? Gonzaga?
Gonzaga, yeah.
They lost to like San Diego State or some.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's what happens.
They should not have lost that game, but they didn't. Hey, how about the Carolina Tar Heels beating up on Duke?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bet. Winning
Carolina plays Miami. I got Carolina to win tonight.
Bet. Hell yeah.
Apparently, that's supposed to be a close one. You know,
Is it?
Carolina whooped them last time they played. I think it was March a year ago. I'm just
Totally
reading up on these internet websites
Totally
about the
different
histories of the games.
Totally
Yeah.
different team. Not a single player on that team is bad.
But Carolina's better this year.
They are.
Yeah.
I do think they'll win.
We
tonight.
cannot allow the Hurricanes to win.
No.
But now that we can pay players to play, yeah, Hurricanes could be good
They could.
because they're not afraid to pay some players.
Miami's a good place to go to school, too.
That's right. And now you can pay them legally. You don't know who's going to be good anymore.
That's true.
You used to know who was going to be good because you could tell who was paying and who was just historically good.
Yeah.
But now that it's legal
It's the Wild
to
West.
pay, you got to reset your expectations on teams.
100%.
Yep. Yep. Did y'all hear about who's that team moving up to the
Oh,
Division I?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Where are they going? Mountain West?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, what y'all think they going to do?
Win.
Yeah.
He'll probably win the Mountain West, yeah.
They've been winning games, but it's not a single coach. They've had multiple coaches. You know, it's not like they got this damn, heralded sort of, singular dude that's just making them kick ass. Whatever they're doing, it's working over the course of multiple different people running this team.
Yeah, sustained success.
Yeah, I am curious to see how they do. And will anybody pick them up in the next version of the Gridiron Racers Dynasty League? Who will do it?
So what you're saying is they got a lot of people. They pay their players well.
I might have to be them.
They're
I
gonna.
might have to be them.
I mean, you.
Go to the Mountain West.
The secret is pay the players
I'll
well.
go beat up on other user teams
Nah,
there.
we'll have to move you.
No,
North Dakota State's now in the E SEC.
I'll beat up on the SEC a little bit. Going into Daytona, here are the odds for the drivers. Joe Logano at plus 1,000, Blaney 1,100, Hamlin 1,200, Byron 1,300, Larson and Elliott 1,400. It's Daytona. It's the 500. We all know that anything can happen in those final couple of laps, and no telling how many green, white checkers we may get. You just don't know what's going to go on. But you do got to go in here with an attitude that you feel like there's some guys that just can do it better than most. Honestly, I'm surprised Logano's at the front of this field. I know Logano does have a great track record at Daytona and Talladega and in this style of racing. I just feel like that Blaney has surpassed him in the Penske camp as the best plate racer or drafting track racer, as Russell loves to say.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Yeah. So, Hamlin's always going to be a threat, always. And the other thing that we don't know, Russell, is how much power has any of these manufacturers found? And Chevrolet has a new car. Is the new car going to be better or going to be worse? They claim it's got more downforce, but it has less drag. Less drag at Daytona is incredibly good. If that all plays out as we've been told, it's hard to really handicap, or it's hard to really give odds to the Chevrolet teams, because they could come in here and perform much similar to what the Fords have been doing at these type of racetracks. What's your take?
I like William Byron and Kyle Larson this weekend. That's who I'm going with. Byron's
Larson.
going 3 in a row. I know it's crazy, but he's been really good on these drafting track races lately.
You're right. You're right.
He's been snake bitten in the 500, but I think he's really learned some stuff in this next gen car. Byron's going for 3 in a row. Nobody's ever won 3 500s in a row. And he's really good at, TJ likes to say, accident avoidance. He's my guy.
He's really good at lifting, pushing somebody to the line too.
Well, that's.
What does that mean, TJ? What do you mean by that, TJ? Could you explain yourself?
I do think Larson has gotten better at these plate races. He definitely that was probably his weakest tracks for the longest time, but he seems to be up there more and more now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Larson seems to have gotten over his sort of frustration with the the things that are out of your control in these type of events, and he's sort of maybe got a little bit of a determined focus towards trying to get the best result. And I think that's interesting to watch play out. And he has been able to get in these races and run toward the front.
You mentioned Hamlin, but
easy, Travis.
No, hold on.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hold on. Though Tim's, I feel like go fade Denny early.
Yeah, well, with that shoulder injury that we've heard of,
I'm not worried about that.
you're not worried.
Not at all.
Last time he had
No.
it, he did not perform as
I'm
well.
more worried about the $20 he cost me at the casino last week. The Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
You're not worried about a
he's not
slow
any
start
good
though.
in this car on drafting tracks. Like, he's a huge decline for Hamlin on drafting tracks in this car.
Even though, in our minds, in my mind, he's been one of the best. You feel like that for some reason he's just not been able to put it together. Is it a Toyota thing? Is Toyota showing a pattern of struggling at this type of racetrack?
Well, they've just struggled to get together on things. Like, a lot of times their strategies, they have a speeding penalty on pit road when they're all pitting together for fuel, stuff like that. They've just not been able to get together.
Yeah.
I think Bell's your best bet if you're going to go with a Toyota.
Does this car not? To me, this car takes away from guys like Denny being able to control things in the race more, because this is way more of a free for all than it's ever been. Like, Blaney wins Daytona, the last race at Daytona, but he was in back and he just stayed in the outside lane and cars kept moving down out of his way. That wasn't his plan. It just worked out for him, in my opinion. But I don't see the guys like Denny. It's so much harder nowadays for the guys that were good in the old cars like Brad and Denny to control things. It's really hard to do now. And to me, man, like William Byron winning from, where was he, 10th down the backstretch last year? And like Blaney opened it up. Justin Haley and Cole Custer are racing for the win down the backstretch, and they leave the outside for Blaney open. He just drives by. I don't know. It's just so much more of a free for all. Timing has to work out more. I mean, it's kind of luck. A lot more luck now than it was 15 years ago.
I don't know. Blaney seems to be up front in a lot of these races, and that's not luck. I mean, that's just it. What I know about what I do know about Daytona and the style of racing we see there, no matter, even you can change the car, you can change the speed of the power of the motor, you can change all of these things, and the way the driver succeeds is all mentality. It's all attitude. It's all what you're willing to do, how aggressive you're willing to be. But you see the same guys tend to find their way to the front, and there's a reason. It's because of their it's because of their personality and the way they make decisions, their conviction, their processing power. All of those things allow them to excel in those moments late in these races. And that's why I always used to say, I don't know where Denny's going to be when they cross the finish line, but he'll be in the picture. I used to say that, and that was my way of saying, like, this guy just knows how to run well at these racetracks. Now, it seems that I think it's more of a Toyota thing, because when you look at the odds on the manufacturers, Ford's at plus 125 to win, Chevrolet's at plus 150, and Toyota's at plus 300. It may be a performance issue with the Ford. It's just a car that's built to succeed at other racetracks and not necessarily at a drafting track. Maybe there's too much drag. There's just too much downforce on this car for them to perform as well as they'd like to. They also don't have the numbers to be able to get the help when needed and the necessary things that happen during the moments of these races. But I still feel like Denny, when he's on his game, can be as good as anybody at Daytona.
He almost won last year.
But I think Blaney would be my favorite to go out there and get it done. I could see Ryan winning a Daytona 500 at some point in his career, and why not this year?
I agree with you seem to find the same 5 to 7 drivers that are near the front.
Racing at Talladega, or let's just say racing at Bristol, racing at road courses, racing at Charlotte, racing at all these different racetracks takes a unique skill. SVG has that skill at the road courses. Other drivers have different skills that allow them to be great at certain racetracks. At Daytona and Talladega, right now, it's not about driving by the seat of your pants. It's not about feeling the car as it rolls across the racetrack and where the grip level is and all that. It's about processing power in your mind, decision making, aggression. It's a mental game, and that's why we see the same drivers sort of work their way toward the front, is because they do that mental part of this this style of racing better than most. And some guys, I wouldn't even be able to really name names, but the guys that don't do well at this are the apprehensive ones, the timid ones, the unsure ones. They didn't make the move quick enough, and somebody made it for them. Right, because you've got to make moves, and you got to be the first one there, the first one to think of it, right? And so if you're sitting there hesitating, is this the right move? Should I shift lanes? Should I follow this guy? Someone's going to do it.
Yeah, the good guys have a feel for the flow of the race.
They do,
and they know when to position themselves and when to do it. Exactly,
and it's really more mental than what we would all consider real raw driving ability.
Yeah,
it's a talent. It is a talent that I admire. I felt like I was really good at it. And I think that there's guys, depending, as the car changes, what you need to be willing to do and how you process decisions changes, right?
Yeah. I do think there's a difference between.
I don't feel like Denny's had the car.
I just don't think the race plays out.
I agree with you there too. I think this, the fuel mileage, the saving, all those things, and how you use this car. It's not the same. It doesn't work.
No.
In the same way.
Denny was good when he could be a lone soldier by himself too. He was a really good, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't as much alliance before as there is now either. Because I feel like Denny could control the race and they could do what they wanted behind him, and he was good at manipulating everything in his mirror.
I'm leaning with Blaney, man.
I lean with Blaney as well. Yeah. He's going to win one eventually.
But I can't go against him.
Yeah. Is there, let's vet this out really quickly, though. I mean, of the guys on the list in front of me, Elliott, Larson, all that, I gotta go with Blaney. But who is not on this page that has the odds that could really bring us a lot of reward?
Chris Buescher.
Preece.
What if we go for
I like Buescher.
Buescher.
He's been top 10 in 5 of the last 6 at Daytona.
Because I know that's like there are. So here's my problem with that. There is a mindset that really develops those type of results, but that mindset doesn't mesh with the one that wins the races. And so while I applaud Buescher for being consistent and being able to make the right decisions and choices to keep himself clean and get that result, he's not doing enough to give himself the odds to win the race. Does that make sense? So
he won the summer race in 23.
Yeah. All right. I mean, what's his odds?
2,500.
I'm not saying he's the best bet, but he's one that's not on your list there.
Yeah. Well, all right. We asked for it.
What are Priest's?
Priest is 2,000.
That's another guy that I just feel like when it comes down to it, he's going to have done everything he could have to correctly and rightly place himself in that 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th place late in the race, but it's not the position he needs to be in to win. It'll be the position he needs to be in to help somebody win. But he'll be pushing somebody across the finish line, but he won't be the guy getting pushed. Now, there's always the chance that everybody wrecks and anybody could win in the top 10 like Byron did last year. That could happen on the back straightaway, and Priest or Buescher could be the beneficiary for that. But there's a mindset that when you start those races, if you stick to a mindset of, man, I'm going to try to be around at the end and I'm going to be clean and I'm not going to do anything crazy and I'm going to be riding somewhere in the top 10, that mindset works and it gets you the top 10. But it's not the same mindset that puts you in those positions to win.
I got a question for you then. So I think the last race of Daytona, Priest is leading the outside lane. Well, late in the race, gonna have a shot at winning. Gets Larson and a teammate, I think, behind him, and they split him because he can't hold him off. Yeah. How does he do anything different?
I know. There's nothing you can't do there.
I mean, but to me, that's bad timing.
It's not his fault. Yeah, I agree. I get it. I've seen all these races play out. This car is just almost impossible to predict. It just makes it really difficult.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had Justin Haley and Cole Custer leading off at 2 last race there, and Blaney wins.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think you have to go with Byron or Blaney. Like, they've won 5 of the last 11 races there.
Yeah, let's not overthink it. We're going with Blaney. That's going to be our pick. You can also bet on finishing positions. Connor Zilisch, over, under 17.5.
Under.
You think he's going to improve?
I think he's going to have a good day. Okay. Good debut.
I don't think so. I think
it's tough, man.
It is, but it seems like one of those,
Listen,
headline: Dale Jr. doubts Connor.
No, let me just tell you this. All right, so he's never ran this car in this type of racing, in this type of pack, with this type of strategy. He is going to go in at such a disadvantage experience-wise. He doesn't know where the corners of this race car really are yet. Like, he's been driving a completely different car for the last couple of years now. I know he's got some time in the next gen car, but the speed in which you need to make decisions, they're going to expose him. They're going to know he's at a disadvantage, and they're going to take advantage of that. They're going to do everything they can to sort of ship him to the back, right, and make things difficult on him. The only way that I think he beats that 17.5 is if there's a ton of attrition.
Yeah.
Now, then he can, because he's going to probably most likely be riding
in the back
half of the field.
Yeah.
Not willingly, just because of his inexperience. And so, hey, I'm down for being wrong. I just know when you go to that race to Daytona for the first time and they see that, they see your car out there and they know who's in it and know you're a rookie and know you don't know nothing, they know exactly how to exploit you. And if they want to get you out of there and get you to the back, they will. They do.
They do. Yeah. It is we talk about it at times, but these guys are so good in these cars and tight windows and where they can manipulate air and how they do it.
And the decisions you need to make in that race,
quick,
super quick. And he's not going to, it'll come with time, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
I would bet just for the attrition.
Yeah.
If I was Connor, I would hang out in the back all day and just take the top 15 if I could.
That's it.
That's what I would do.
Tyler Reddick, under 15.5. I don't mind it.
It's a good line.
Yeah.
I see it both ways.
Russ?
Yeah. I know. It's tough.
It's a really good line. He's only finished better than 27th once in the last 7 starts at Daytona, I think.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Gosh.
Now, it was last year, so.
Yeah. Eric Jones under 15.5.
I don't love the under there.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a back half of the teens,
Yeah,
early
but I
20s
mean,
type of run.
this is a fresh slate now. Is he coming out? You know what I mean? Like,
Not the Toyota. The Toyota, like we talked about earlier, Toyotas, there's something off with them.
They're like an AAU team. They never play together. Like Chevy and Ford are like a high school team that knows how to work together.
but I think Eric's he's got a knack for a plate racetrack. He's got a knack for these, whatever you want to call them. He's just got a knack for finding the front.
That would have won 3 of the last 4 years
Ooh.
or races there. Yep.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
That would have won 3 of the last 4 at Daytona. The under.
Can't argue with that.
I like it. I mean, I think that's a good number for Eric. I think he's fallen into the weeds a little bit. And
I like the under on Tyler and Eric Jones. It is a crapshoot. It's Daytona. It's a Daytona 500. Anything can happen. But I think I like the mentality of both of those drivers to go out there and try to achieve that result, and I think they can do it. I just think Connor's another year or so away from being able to really do all the things that need to be done in the timely manner, processing power and speed that he's going to have. I'm willing to be wrong. Manufacturer Ford at 125, Chevy 150, Toyota 300. I know we picked Blaney to win the race, but I like Chevy's odds. When you look at manufacturers, it's so weird. Looking at drivers, you'll pick a Ford, and looking at the manufacturers, you'll feel better about a Chevrolet.
It's a lot more Chevys out there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the odds to see one of them cross the finish line first just feels better.
It's kind of like hedging your bet.
Yep.
if you have a big wreck and takes out a handful of cars, there's a lot more Chevys to fill in them spots.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more challenging for another manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we got to do our top manufacturer parlay. So we're going with Blaney on the Ford side. On the Chevrolet side, I like your Byron Larson. I think we'll take Byron. I think he's in the picture. Maybe he doesn't get 3 in a row, but he's going to be probably the top Chevrolet. Top Toyota, let's go with Hamlin.
I'm going with Denny.
Yeah. I feel like he bounces back and he overachieves, as Russell might say.
Russ, are we forgetting about
I would have went with Bell, but that's just me.
Yeah.
What about Briscoe?
I mean, I was more thinking about what about Ross Chastain and Austin Cindric?
Well, they don't drive a
No,
Toyota.
I'm just saying, overall, we're forgetting about these guys.
No, not really. Like Ross hasn't been great there in the 500. Who else did you say?
I said Briscoe. Like we saw in the back half of last year, he really figured
Wasn't
out this Toyota car.
Yeah, I don't mind Briscoe. You know, he was super fast there last year, won the pole, finished 4th.
Wasn't Ross racing for the lead 2 years ago in the 500 near the end of the race?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, man.
Oh, so that don't count.
That was 2 Daytona 500s.
Yeah. But you talk about Williams' last 2. Okay.
Well, he won those.
He won them.
Well, that's 2 years ago. Doesn't matter.
He still won it.
From 10th.
Ross finished 21st.
With no wreck, does Byron win?
We don't know.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, that's my manufacturer parlay. I'm going to go with Blaney, Hamlin, and then Byron. All right, Dirty Modo segment is brought to you by FanDuel, the premier gaming destination in the United States. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Tims, for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here at the Arby's studio. Don't forget about Arby's new Meat in 3 box. Get more meal for your money at Arby's. We have the meats. That's enough for me and TJ and the rest of the crew. We'll see you next week.